Thank you for making the time to review our online credit application, also known as ApplyEasy. What you're looking at now is just a basic example that I'm going to run through today of what a typical online credit app would look like using our service. Obviously, it would be in your colours and branding if we were to build yours. And please keep in mind that at each step, this is all fully customizable. Yes, we have a number of different out-of-the-box solutions, but a lot of customers do transition their current paper-based app to exactly the same, but in an online format. What I'll start off with is the hyperlink at the top. When you do have your online credit app built, you'd have your own unique hyperlink. So that's something you can put on your website as a link or a button. Customers put that in their marketing collateral. Either way, it's a really easy way to be able to onboard customers quickly by simply sending them this link. I'm going to click apply now. As I said, fully customizable touch points along the way. Before I even start entering any data, what I will note is the form is fully optimized. So what that means is customers can apply for an account on the mobile phone, a tablet, a desktop, a laptop. It's really easy wherever they are to apply for an account. I'm going to enter some dummy data just to be able to get through the gears here. But probably the most important gear in my mind is nailing that ABN and that ACN. So you hear all the horror stories of customers missing out digits or not giving the right ABN, etc. It's almost impossible to get this part wrong because ultimately we're mirroring the data from the credit bureau, which is CreditorWatch. That's who we are. We're able to pull through all of the information in relation to every entity in Australia. And it starts by entering this data here, which makes it nice and easy for your customers to go through, and really it's foolproof, not make any mistakes in entering the right ABN or ACN. But again, there's probably people now watching this going, well, there's still customers that would enter the wrong thing. And that happens, but certainly we make it as foolproof as possible. I'll try and press next, and straight up you can see we have mandatory fields turned on. So gone are the days where customers can, skip sections of your file, of your credit app, and not fill out certain parts. We can make every part mandatory if you wish. If all the data is important at every stage in your credit app, well, we can make it all mandatory. In this case, again, we have that credit bureau data against the entity, so we can populate the address really easily. We can add billing address, delivery address, etc. Typically, we will collect a primary contact. We'll collect an accounts payable contact as well. Commonly, people will also chase perhaps a PO contact. Whatever it is, again, we can tailor it to suit accordingly. What I will show you below, you'll see that there's a save and resume later link. That's really handy because, if your customers are on the go and they need to come back to it, they can email it to themselves. Or there's another way to use this where you might be talking to a customer on the phone and filling out the app on their behalf until you can get to a certain point and on-share it with them to complete and electronically execute the doc. That's, I guess, a good pre-fill option for those people that want to be able to make it easier for their customers to apply. But it's certainly a very strong, nice to have in your app along the way. We're already at step 4 of 6, so we're nearly done. But again, because we enter that ABN/ACN at the beginning, we're also pulling the director information against every entity. So we can see here there's a whole heap of different options. Typically, companies will use that 1 or 2 directors when applying for credit. So for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to drop down and enter 1. You'll see that you can enter multiple if need be. Your customers can enter multiple there. We can collect things like director phone numbers and email addresses as well, which is really important if you do want directors to be signing off on your credit applications. Down the bottom here, it's just an example that we can have an upload form set up for you. Just ignore that it says director guarantee, but ultimately we have customers that want all kinds of different external uploads of documents as part of their application. So we can create that, and documents can be uploaded in basically any format. So that's a really handy tool when you want to collect further documents from your customers. The final thing is credit limit requested, and we're pretty much done. So we get to the end. Your customers are able to very quickly review the data that they have just entered. You can see along the right-hand side, if they've got something wrong, they can simply click edit before they finally submit the app. Typically, your terms and conditions would fall in here, which would be a hyperlink your customers could click on and review your T's and C's very easily. It would then get signed off by your customer. Again, entering some dummy data to get me through these mandatory fields. They need to confirm that they're a person authorized, and they would then submit the application. A couple of things happen from now. One, you would then receive an email in your inbox to say a new application has come in. The customer would then receive the application in their inbox. However, there would be an electronic signing requirement, which is what I'm about to show you, where they would click on the link which would bring them to an electronically executable document, which is what we're looking at now on screen. The customer basically gets the copy of, again, everything they've just filled out, all the data that they've just entered and provided. Importantly, your T's and C's are there in black and white for them. And then this is where they could electronically sign the document. For those customers that also have a director guarantee, we can tack that onto here as well. So you can collect a director guarantee as part of the process. Once they've done that, you can then jump into your inbox and review the application, which would be in here. I'm in the application right now, but just to take it back a step, I can click on applications, which will show me typically what a busy inbox would look like. I can remove the tags. What you're seeing there, interestingly, are tags for applications that have come through that might require higher approval. And we can set that up nice and easily. You know, you might have customers coming to you for 100 grand credit. Well, that needs to go up a hierarchy of controls. It can, and we can set it up so a CFO or a finance manager automatically receives the application so they can approve without you having to chase them. However, I'm going to show you my example, and a bit like a cooking show, something I prepared earlier. I can go and find that example app that I just put through, which was PepsiCo, and I can come in and review the application really easily. So along the top, overview, responses, e-signature, notes, and files. So first things first, there is a credit report that is attached to every application that comes through. The system is doing a credit check on every application that comes through. And you can simply review that credit report by clicking download, which would give you the credit report in PDF format, time and date stamped at the bottom, where you could very quickly review their credit file. 3 defaults isn't looking good, but you could very quickly review their credit file as part of the application process, which kind of takes this from an online form to something much more powerful, where you're actually getting an understanding of whether they're creditworthy or not. To go back in there, you've got the opportunity to update the decision along the way. So something I'll touch on later. You can see the decision and the information below. The responses, which is all the data that we just filled out, you can review very easily. The e-signature, which is just making sure your application was signed and electronically executed. Well, we can do that. We can click on that. We can review. We can even download the certificate. You can download the documents there on the left-hand side, which is, again, all of that data the customer looked at, the T's and C's attached. I can download the certificate and have a very good look at, you know, the time and date stamp, when it happened, who signed it, all that detail, all that important information that you do need from a legal standpoint when onboarding. We come across to notes. You can add notes against the file. You can see here I've done an example one there, something I prepared earlier. But especially if you've got multiple users, if people want to add notes, it's very easy to keep a running log on every onboarded customer from a notes point of view. And last but not least, files. So again, if you want to upload additional files to an application, you can append any types of files that you like to add to each app that comes through. In the event that you want to approve, pretty simple. You update the decision on the right-hand side. Approved, you can say, great customer, all okay. You can throw an account ID against the customer. You can mirror the requested amount, or you can give them more or less, depending on what your thoughts are, and you can simply click Save Status. So once the application has been approved, an email goes out to the customer, which is, again, fully customizable, letting them know that they've been approved for that line of credit with your company. Other than that, the second most powerful thing that happens other than an initial credit check is we can then monitor every newly onboarded entity for any negative changes. So if you onboard a customer that's creditworthy today, and let's say they start experiencing some adverse against their credit file, things like court actions, payment defaults, they might have a related entity that's going under. All that important information you can be across by way of our alerting system, our monitoring and alerts, and that's something that's really common because yes, it's great they're creditworthy today, but there's no guarantee they're going to be creditworthy tomorrow. So the whole monitoring piece is something that we can certainly touch on if you are requesting further information. Other than that, that is our application in a nutshell. If you do have any questions, please reach out via Contact Us and we'd be more than happy to help. Thanks for reviewing ApplyEasy.